nowadays, and so I am all shocked to know.
Welcome back inside the Now Morning Show. The TTPS join us on now in the form of Inspector Michelle Lewis. Good morning, Inspector. Happy New Year.
Good morning to the both of you, and good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and Happy New Year to each and everybody.
How are you doing this morning, Inspector?
Well, we started the year with a state of emergency. Just as I left last week, Monday, the country has been, and we started the new year with a state of emergency. And so this morning, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, we're looking at that topic and some aspects of it and how we can share some information so that the public feels more comfortable, more assured in relation to the SOE and what it really is about.
Yeah. Talk to us then.
Yeah, clarify.
So in the first instance, when you look at the document, which is Legal Notice 240 of 2024, dated the 30th of December, right? It really speaks to persons who are involved in illegal activity, in particular illegal possession of firearms and ammunition, which we know are the primary items or weapons used to commit criminal offenses in Trinidad.
Right.
And as a result of the amount of illegal firearm and ammunition that we have in the country, there has been an increase in the amount of fatal or murders or homicides that we have in the country, so much so that we ended the year with 624, which is unprecedented in our nation. And as a result of that, certain action has been taken to assist law enforcement with that problem that we have. And I say law enforcement because the regulation speaks to not just the TTPS, the police, but also the defense force.
Right.
So in a state of emergency, the defense force has all the powers of the police officer. And so whether generally or in particularly, the chief of the defense staff can deploy his officers with or without police officers in treating with matters under the state of emergency.
Tell me, just so that we're all on the same page, how does the SOE help the police, the defense force, deal with the matter of illegal guns? What sort of liberties do you have under the SOE that you don't have usually?
So prior to the SOE, we required certain legal documents and certain passages for us to go through under the AJPA system, which is a new system, currently exists in law, to obtain search warrants and justify certain things, right? And there are other aspects of the law that is very frustrating, but exists, right? And I say that from a police perspective because, you know, we do the work out there and then we put persons before the court. They have 3 case charges for illegal possession of firearm and on bail. And so the process is could be very frustrating for officers doing their work out there every day and seeing the
Right.
Okay.
So under the SOE, is it that we don't have to worry about the court no more? Or?
So under the SOE, the police officers with the intelligence that they have can enter premises and search those premises for firearms and ammunition. It could be a vehicle, it could be a vessel, it could be a home or property, anything.
So just liberty to search without any warrants, essentially.
Correct, but of course the officers who are going there, and I want to just emphasize this. So several months before, perhaps about a year or so, we know that the Commissioner of Police and the Executive have indicated to the public that the use of the police uniform is what we know as a gazetted, the grey and blue for male and blue or blue for female, as opposed to the operational wear. So we have gone away from that operational wear because we recognize that operational wear is sold in stores. And a lot of private organizations utilize it.
The operational gear you're talking about is the all-black tactical looking...
All black or blue, blue and black with a lot of...
With the big police across the chest.
Correct, which you can just
you can
get
buy
anywhere. Yeah. Correct. And that is uniform that the commissioner, if I could use the word, outlawed in the service.
Right.
So neither first nor second division officers can utilize those because of the challenges and the problems we were experiencing, where persons with criminal intent have been utilizing that they can buy in the store to impersonate being a police officer and so enter someone's home or the vehicle, as the case may be. So that is something done some months ago, and we just...
And this is something that has been enacted, right?
Yes.
Okay, so in light of that, because of course we were discussing off air, and it is a concern many people do have of people just impersonating police officers, as you said, it could bias anyway, going into the house and doing their raids or criminal activity, for want of a better expression. So we're looking out for a different uniform, essentially. We don't see official TTPS or TCDF work taking place in this time period outside or in those.
You will see
outfit.
it.
Okay.
You will see it. You will see the grey and blue.
You will, right, but you wouldn't see the all black and all blue.
No, you won't see that.
Okay.
So you will see the grey and blue. You will see the camouflage that the IATF Interagency Task Force uses, and the Guard and Emergency Branch, the NOTF, National Operation, and those were information that has been out some months ago.
Okay.
So it's like a camouflage, a digital camouflage, similar to what the Defense Force, including that the Army uses. Those are the uniforms that you would see on all of our operations or daily activities within the TTPS. So those are the things that you know for certain it's police officers. And as we have mentioned before, if it is that you are suspicious that this uniform that you're seeing is not so, meaning that it is not the police uniform, then you call 999, you call the station, and you inform accordingly.
While
Right?
they're outside or while they
Yeah.
while they come in, or because they don't need a warrant, right?
Yeah, they could just come
No,
in.
well, remember she was talking generally in relation to the uniform.
Okay,
and what
so if you
persons
see it
can look
generally, you could
forward-
call
Yes,
on-
and if what persons can look forward to,
Okay.
and what they can observe.
But now moving on to what Ruckus was saying as well.
Right. So
If they
it
reach
is-
outside by me and I'm not sure about the uniform, what are doing then?
Yeah.
But if it is that a group of persons enter your premises and have identified themselves as police officers with their ID card and with the grey and blue, they are legitimate officers. If it is that someone has entered your home, barged down your door, as we have seen in the past, to commit an illegal act, when we know it is not police officers, but of course the time frame for the police to respond, if the person can call us before, then certainly the police will respond and be there. But I know you're talking about something where the person is actually in your space,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the opportunity for you to do anything is very
Limited,
small.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we trust that with the state of emergency that the TTPS is engaged in currently, and the several operations and exercises that we have in both in streets and at homes and buildings and in residential areas, that it will prevent these events from taking place. When we looked at the homicide rate as of yesterday,
Right.
for 2025 we had 2 homicides. For 2023 we had 20. For 2024, for the same period, which is up to the 5th of January, we had 20. And when we look at the period 2023 up to the 5th of January, we had 6. So that we are seeing that the SOE and the actions and the operations of the TTPS, we are seeing indeed a reduction in the amount of homicide that we would have anticipated, because we are guided by our data.
By the intelligence, right?
We will project what will happen, and so it is indeed assisting. We have had over 1,000 exercise operations.
So is that
45 days so far, or 6.
Is that the metric used to measure the success of the SOE? Is it the amount of homicides that happen, or is it the amount of illegal guns that we're able to take off the streets?
We have taken off a considerable amount with the period. We have taken off over 17. I know it's about 20 now, because I know over the weekend we've had some as well, and we've had a lot of arrests as well, over maybe 130 arrests since of persons. So we are seeing an increase in activities that, of course, is stymied the persons with illegal intent, and of course removal of illegal firearm and ammunition. Now, even though I'm using the word illegal,
Right.
the regulation also speaks of persons with legal firearm with intent to commit or about to commit. The regulation also speaks to persons who consort or associate with persons who have in their possession firearm, be it illegal or legal, with the intent to commit or about to commit any breach of the peace. So that is not just the person in possession of, and this is something important for persons to note.
Right.
But if you are associated with persons who have in their possession such firearm and ammunition, then you can also be charged for an offense if it is that it is believed, based on intel, that you are consorting to commit an offense about in relation to the peace and order in the country.
Okay.
So not just the possession of in person, but also
Association.
So therefore, the law also provides for you not to associate with persons.
See, and
But
that's,
it gets interesting because you mentioned associated persons with ill intent.
Yeah. So
So if I
How do
meet
we
you and
ascertain
you
their
are
intent?
you are a licensed firearm holder, right? And I don't know what your intentions are, but we sit down here having a conversation, and the police come in the door and they say, "Well, we have information that says that you, Inspector, going and disturb the peace. And all of you sit down here talking to you, so all of you going down.
Well, I don't think it will be so blanketed, right? So let me just read what the Act says, Section 8(2). A person who consorts with or is found in the company of another person who, without lawful authority, has in his possession any firearm, ammunition, or explosive in circumstances which raise a reasonable presumption that he intends or is about to act or has recently acted with such other person in a manner prejudicial to public order or public safety, commits an offense.
But it says with lawful authority, though. That means you have a firearm license.
That's what I'm saying. So even if someone is
So then it's a legal
or
firearm.
illegal firearm in
Once
their
it's a
possession,
firearm.
and the intent, so there are persons, we have to appreciate in Trinidad and Tobago that there are persons who have firearms and whose
Legal firearms.
correct,
Right.
who have correct.
Okay.
Right, but the thing, the what you just read there, mentioned
Includes both.
unlawful. It said unlawful.
Okay, so we go in again. It says with or without lawful authority.
Okay.
Oh,
So
with
whether-
or without. Okay.
Yes.
So this pertains to you whether you're an FUL holder
Correct.
or not.
Correct.
Okay, so then we look at how we're ascertaining now what is reasonable in the eyes of the law, which I know for some can definitely be a bit of a challenge, especially depending on who is doing the investigation and the due diligence that's done as well. But I know we're almost out of time, and there's one thing, because you know you're coming back next week, and hopefully we're going to talk about this, right? Something with regards to the fine of $100,000 and the imprisonment for a term of 5 years. Specifically, a person who commits an offence under the Emergency Powers Regulation is liable on summary conviction to a fine of $100,000, imprisonment for a term of 5 years. Can you provide some more details and clarification on that for us?
In relation to what the law says?
Yes.
So if the person, so that's on summary conviction,
Right.
which means that it goes before the magistrate.
Okay.
And so once the person, well, I think it's kind of self-explanatory.
Well, I mean, it
really.
is, but I mean, well, for some, yes, but we're breaking it down, let's say, for one to a better
So
expression
once
in
the
layman's terms.
evidence-
So what's a summary conviction?
A summary conviction is a matter that goes before a magistrate, as
Okay.
opposed to an indictable offence that goes before a judge and a jury. But the SOE speaks of a magistrate, and
Right.
it also speaks of a tribunal. So once you're charged, you go before a magistrate. And just to add in relation to the magistrate as well, with the detention order and the extension of it also goes before a magistrate or a FD, a first division officer, ASP and above, right? So that with a magistrate, the magistrate will determine the matter based on the evidence provided.
Okay.
And of course, the person will have legal representative, either they pay for the person or through legal aid, as the case may be. So the legal aspect or the judicial process is still fair. And so the law and the police operate within, but of course you must have the evidence to
support. the claimant.
whatever
Okay.
charge that you lay before the person.
I
against
saw
the
I saw a
person.
notice about an amnesty, a gun amnesty. Is that a real thing? Is that
Yeah, so the Act also provides for it where there's a prescribed period that can be determined where persons can bring in their firearm without no charge or without
Okay.
saying that you're in possession of a legal firearm or anything like that.
So what's the process for that, if you don't mind me
Well,
asking?
drop it in.
Just
So-
walk in the station
There
and
you
say,
go.
here, look this.
Sorry.
And leave?
And if that happens, Rockers, we're in a good place. It
Yeah,
means that persons have recognized that this item that I have is not one that I want. I don't want to be arrested, and I don't
Right.
want it to be used to commit any criminal offense. And you bring it in, that's a good place for us to be as a country.
But I'm asking, is that the process? Is that you
But-
just walk in, drop it down, and you go on? You don't have to sign nothing?
Well-
You don't have to say, well, here, look this, or...
Well, actually, the Act, when you look at the portion of the Act that speaks with it, speaks about a prescribed duration of time. So it could be interpreted that is during the SOE period that persons can bring in their firearm as, we can say, a gun amnesty.
Okay.
So should that happen, the police service welcomes it. And we really want persons to understand that the state of emergency is not against law-abiding citizens or law-abiding visitors to our shores. It is really targeting persons with ill intent, whether they have legal firearms or not, particularly heavy arms, as we have seen those are the weapons that are being used to cause fear and, of course, fatalities in our country.
Yes, definitely. Well, Inspector, thank you so much for joining us. Hoping that next week we can continue this conversation because you're here with us every Monday on the Now Morning Show. Hoping you have a blessed week and all the best to you and yours.
Thank
for
you very much.
2025.
Thank you.
Inspector Michelle Lewis here with us this morning from the TTPS. Remember that if you see something, say something, and remember to stay tuned because there's more coming up after the break.
No one couldn't walk alone. Tongue was like a battle zone, but nowadays and so